Now below me I have my Delta 36-725 table saw. Now you've heard me say that a lot, and that's mainly because I really like this saw. It works well in my shop. It may not be the best for you, but that's really what this video is designed for, is for you to get an idea of if you like this saw or not, and if you're looking to purchase this, this is a great video to watch. Now I'm going to be doing a review because somebody recently commented asking if I had a review, and so here it is. I've got this out for you, and this is my take on a review. I'm not the best at these, but I'll give it a shot. So let's get into it. Alright, I'm going to start off with specifications. Now, I've got them brought up on my phone here, so that's what I'm looking at if you're wondering. And also, I'll go over dimensions in a little bit, but I'm going to get the rest of this stuff out of the way first. Now, power, this is powered by a 1.5 horsepower motor, which I will go into greater detail on in a little bit, because that is one of the most frequently asked questions that I get. So 1.5 horsepower motor, it is wired for 120 volts out of the box. However, it can be adapted to 240, and 240 will make it run better, and also it will be a lot easier on the motor. So along with that, this draws 13 amps in the regular 120 volt setup, which is pretty good. I haven't tripped any of my circuits since and the circuit breaker since having the saw, so it's fine. And also, let's see here. It does have a mobile base, which I have the foot pedal on this side over here. However, it can be put on this side, which is the normal configuration. However, I was going to put this router table here, so I spun that around, which is possible to do, and put it on this side, which works a lot better for me. This blade does tip to 45 degrees this way. Let's see what else here. It does have a dust chute in the back, which it's a hookup in the back, and I can show you that a little bit later as well. Arbor size is 5/8 of an inch. That's pretty standard. 10-inch blade, that's also standard. Weight is 197 pounds. However, with these two extensions that I've added, the router table and the outfeed table, this well exceeds 200 pounds. So that adds a little bit of weight there. Anything else? There's a 5-year limited warranty with this, and I think that is about it. Maximum cut depth at 90 degrees is 3 3/4 of an inch. Maximum cut depth at 45 is 2.5 inches. Let's see. The left rip capacity is 15 inches. And the right rip capacity is 30 inches, along with a maximum blade speed of 3,600 RPM. So once it's under load, it is a little bit less. This not being a higher end saw, it is going to be a little bit less, but I haven't seen any issues with it. Alright, now as dimensions go, I'm going to measure from the biggest points because that was the most vital information when trying to see if this would fit into my shop. So the rail, which is the longest piece, that is 62.5. Front to back here, we've got 31.5. I'm also going to measure the cast iron just in case somebody ever needs to know that dimension. I mean, it could be important to somebody. So 20.25 for that by approximately 27. And for the height, I'm going to measure over here, it's just a little bit more accurate, is 36.5. So there's the dimensions, and let's move on to the next part, which is the motor. And for those of you that use the metric system, which I know is quite a few of you, I'm going to put the conversions down below in the description, so you can go check there for the dimensions. Now, one of the most frequently asked questions on my channel is about the power of this saw. And really, these people are seeing all these 3 horsepower saws and wondering, is this capable of doing everything that that 3 horsepower saw can do? And really, the answer is yes. Now, however, there are drawbacks. This is obviously going to be slower, and a 3 horsepower is overall going to be better performance. However, 1.5 horsepower will do anything that you need it to do. It just, are you willing to sacrifice that speed? And for me, at the price point, this is the way to go. I can't spend the extra money that they're asking for those 3 horsepower saws. And again, this does everything that those 3 horsepower saws will do. It's obviously just going to be slower. And once you get into dado stacks, that's where some bigger problems arise as you get into that bigger 3/4 inch range and above. This is going to definitely struggle with that. However, it still can do it. You just have to have a sharp blade and take it slow. So overall, 1.5 horsepower will do everything. It's obviously just going to be a little bit slower. Alright, so now I'm going to get into some of the physical features of this saw, and I'll start out with the fence. Now this is a Biesemeyer style fence. As you can see here, I've got my push stick in this little thing that I call my push stick caddy, and that sits right there, nice and convenient. This fence is pretty good. I really like this. It locks down square. I've only had to ever adjust it once. It does slide really easily, and it locks down in the back and the front. Also, there's a lot of adjustments on it, and this cam lock is super strong, so I don't have to worry about it moving on me while making a cut. Alright, so I've now moved down onto the floor. The lighting's not that great down here, but here you can see one of the hand wheels. This one adjusts the height, this is usually the wheel that does that. Over here is the angle adjustment wheel. I'm not sure how well you can see that one. You can see part of it, and it also has these blue locking knobs in the middle on both of them, which I don't use too often because it seems to stay in the same location, but I do lock this at 90 degrees when I'm in the 90-degree position so it doesn't move. And also, one more thing back here, you can see there's some storage for this miter gauge, which I actually really like. It's a very good miter gauge for this saw, so I'm actually pretty pleased with this one here. Alright, and finally there is a saw blade back there and some storage for saw blades. Now this cutout here is just part of the router table. It's not usually boxed in like that, but that's just part of my router table here. And again, that blade is back there along with some storage. Alright, and finally the switch is located right here. You have to grab onto the side, which is a little strange to turn it on. Down here on the side of my workbench is the push stick that came with the saw, and over on the side, you can somewhat see it, there is the blade guard that came with the saw, which I don't really like that blade guard, so I took it off. And also there are the anti-kickback pawls hanging up on the side, which you don't really have to see those, but they actually work pretty good if you choose to use them. A couple more things while on the ground. Back here you can see the dust chute that I was talking about, which I have some dust collection hose hooked up, and you'll want to do that because this really throws that sawdust right out. It creates a really powerful stream of sawdust, so you'll have sawdust everywhere if you don't hook that up. Over there you can see the blade guard in a little bit different angle. And also I will aim you down and you can see that blue pedal for the mobile base. Alright, so next I'm going to talk about the internals. Now right here you can see a zero clearance insert plate that I made out of just a piece of plywood. And this works really well, and I have a video on this. Now this blue one here is the one that came with the saw, and this is the one that I still use for angled cuts because I can't use this one for angled since it's just a zero clearance insert. So I still do use this one, but just for angled cuts. Next, on the inside, you can see the blade that I have in it now is a Freud blade. That's not the blade that came with the saw. This is a 50-tooth combination blade, which seems to work really good in this saw. The blade does have a little bit of runout, which is due to the arbor not being entirely flat. And I might try to fix that in the future, but the runout's really not too bad, so it's not that big of an issue for me. Now also right here, there is a riving knife, which I gotta lock down. I pulled that up a second ago, but this here this little lever in the back pulls up, and you can move this up and down, and you can also remove it altogether, so that will just slide up and down and out. And also, I'll take it out for you now, and the lever is in the back here. Now, another thing is the hand wheels to move this blade up and down, as well as move the angle, are very smooth. It takes very little effort to move this up and down, which is really nice. Now, removing blades from this saw is quite simple. All you have to do is crank this up all the way to the top, and it comes with this wrench here. And there's also this little button, which you push down to indent, and then you can take the wrench, put it on this side here, and remove this nut here off the arbor, and just make sure not to drop it, because that would be a pain to grab. So there it is, and then there's also this arbor flange, which can come off, as well as the blade, which you pull off right here, which is a little bit difficult to get off, which is a little annoying, because this blade, or this dust shroud here, is a little bit in the way. But there's the blade, and that's easy enough to remove. And here is where the arbor is. Again, there you can see that little red button and the dust shroud. And as you can see here, the arbor is long enough to accept dado stacks. So in all, there are a couple of drawbacks with this saw. The 1.5 horsepower motor is not a huge drawback for me, but for some people it may be. Runout is another concern. This saw I got dialed in pretty good, so it doesn't have a whole lot of runout, but I've heard with a couple other saws there is a little bit more of an issue there. So that can be a concern, but again, it's not too bad on this particular saw. And finally is the dust collection. There is no dust shroud on the bottom here, or there is a dust shroud, but there's not a dust chute at the bottom to catch the dust. So that's a little annoying because the dust just falls straight through onto the floor. I put some temporary foam board under there just to prevent that from happening and not having to clean out from underneath the saw so much. But that's not a huge concern. So overall, this is actually pretty good. A couple more things to mention. There are 2 stamped wings. There's one here, and there was one here, but then I put the router table in, so I took that out. This is a cast iron top, as I'm guessing you could tell, but here it is. So nice and flat top. I didn't have any problems with this not being flat. It's a very flat surface, so I'm happy with that. And that's pretty much it. So let's get into some test cuts so you can see how this saw really performs. Alright, so for this next clip, I'm going to turn the vacuum off, and I'm not going to lower the volume so you can hear exactly what this saw sounds like. Alright, and that wraps up my review of the Delta 36-725 table saw. I hope you enjoyed that, I hope it helped you out, and if you liked the video, please click the like button and also subscribe to my channel. So thanks for watching, and I will see you